Do you think India, the powerhouse of South Asia, can actually build a fighter jet that rivals the legendary American F-16? It might have sounded impossible in the past, but today India is making a historic gamble with a multi-billion-dollar project called the HAL Tejas Mk2. This isn't just a background prop, it's a 4.5 generation fighter born to be the backbone of the Indian Air Force and ready to go toe-to-toe with global competitors. Today we're doing a deep dive into the Tejas Mk2. Is it a massive technological leap, or just another delayed project that's already behind the curve? Let's get into it. Hey everyone, Mick here again. Today we're talking about one of the most closely watched pieces of military hardware in Asia, India's HAL Tejas Mk2. But first we need some context. Why is India pushing so hard to build their own fighter jets? Picture this. India shares tense borders with both Pakistan and China. Maintaining air superiority isn't just a goal, it's an absolute necessity. The massive problem they're facing right now is their aging fleet of Cold War-era MiG-21s, which are rapidly being retired. This is causing their fighter squadron numbers to drop dangerously below required levels. It's an airspace security crisis that India has to fix right now. Driven by this pressure, the Make in India initiative became a national mandate. India realized they can't just rely on buying foreign weapons anymore. History taught them the hard way that during a war, sanctions or cut-off supply chains spell absolute disaster for a military. That's why the Tejas Mk2 project is getting pushed with everything they've got. But let me tell you, getting to the Mk2 has been incredibly painful. The original Tejas Mk1 took almost 30 years to develop. By the time it actually entered service, the tech was borderline obsolete. Plus, the Mk1 was small, had a low payload, and a short range. Honestly, even the Indian Air Force wasn't exactly thrilled with it. But the Tejas Mk2, it is a total game changer. This isn't just a fresh coat of paint on an old airframe, it's virtually a complete redesign, evolving it from a light combat aircraft or LCA into a true medium-weight fighter. The most obvious engineering upgrade you'll spot right away is the addition of canards right near the cockpit. Those little wings aren't there to look cool, they massively increase lift and give the jet insane maneuverability in close combat. It's intentionally designed with aerodynamic instability, so the flight computers can execute lightning-fast, snappy maneuvers, a must-have for modern dogfighting. Moving past the airframe, the real muscle of the Tejas Mk2 comes from its engine. India made the call to use the American GE F414-INS6. This is the exact same engine family that powers the US Navy's FA-18 Super Hornet. It pushes out 98 kilonewtons of thrust, which is a solid 20% increase over the Mk1's engine. That extra raw power is exactly why the Mk2 has a max takeoff weight of 17.5 tons and can pack 11 hardpoints for weapons. Now let's talk about the brain and sensors. India is proudly rolling out its homegrown AESA radar named the Uttam. This radar is the secret weapon they've been quietly perfecting. It sees further, locks on with crazy precision, and can track multiple targets simultaneously while being highly resistant to electronic jamming. Add a fully integrated electronic warfare suite, missile approach warning systems, and a state-of-the-art full-glass cockpit, and you give the pilot complete situational awareness. They really didn't hold back on packing this thing with heavy-hitting 4.5 Gen tech. When it comes to its teeth, the Tejas Mk2 is a true multi-role fighter, built to dominate the sky and strike hard on the ground. It can carry top-tier missiles from Russia, Europe, and most importantly, India's own indigenous arsenal, like the Astra Beyond Visual Range air-to-air missile. The absolute kicker, though, is its future integration with the BrahMos-NG supersonic cruise missile. If they pull that off, the Mk2 is going to be one of the most terrifying medium-weight fighters in the region. But hold on a second. Specs on paper look amazing, but the reality of weapons development is usually a lot uglier. Like I said earlier, India doesn't exactly have a great track record when it comes to state-run projects. Here we are in 2026, and the Tejas Mk2 still hasn't made its first flight. Right now, the prototype is in the pre-flight phase, running ground tests and gearing up for high-speed taxi trials. Officially, they're targeting a maiden flight by mid-2026, but some insiders are already hinting it could slip into early 2027. By the time it passes all its trials, hits full-rate production, and actually forms operational squadrons, we might be staring at the year 2030 or beyond. Here's the brutal reality. While India is struggling to push out a 4.5-gen fighter, the rest of the world is already sprinting toward 6th-generation platforms. The US, Europe, and China are miles ahead. If the Tejas Mk2 faces any more delays, it could be obsolete on arrival. Talk about a massive challenge for the Indian government. They are racing the clock to prove that their self-reliance policy actually works in the real world. Still, you can't underestimate India's sheer willpower. To really see where the Tejas Mk2 stands today, let's put it in the ring with the gold standard of 4.5-gen fighters, the American F-16V Block 70-72. This comparison is going to show us exactly how Indian tech stacks up against a legendary platform. I put together a spec breakdown and some estimated costs for you guys to check out. Looking at the numbers, there are some really interesting takeaways here. First up, engine power. The F-16V, built on an airframe with decades of combat-proven history, obviously uses a larger engine. It holds the edge in total thrust and max payload. But here's the crazy part. The Tejas Mk2 practically matches the F-16V by packing exactly 11 hardpoints. That shows the Indian engineers really nailed the wing design and weight distribution, allowing it to carry just as much pain to the enemy as the bigger guy. Next, the radar. The APG-83 on the F-16V is top-tier tech, directly inheriting DNA from the F-35. Its reliability and precision are universally recognized. On the flip side, India's Uttam AESA radar is the new kid on the block. We still need to see how it performs in real-world, highly jammed combat environments, but just the fact that India can manufacture its own AESA radar is a massive technological leap that most countries only dream of. And we can't ignore the weapons packages. As you saw in the table, the F-16V is armed to the teeth with battle-tested NATO standards like the AMRAAM for long range and the IM-9X for up close. You know it works. The Tejas Mk2 takes a completely different route, mixing European, Israeli, Russian, and homegrown tech like the Astra family. This mix gives India strategic independence, so they can't be blackmailed or cut off by any single nation. Plus, the F-16 doesn't have an answer to the BrahMos-NG supersonic cruise missile. If India gets that mounted under the Mk2's wings, it's going to be a total nightmare for enemy fleets and ground targets. Finally, the ultimate deciding factor, the price tag. Looking at the estimated costs, the Tejas Mk2 sits around the $40 to $50 million mark. Meanwhile, a new F-16V is going to run you $60 to $70 million easily, if not more, depending on the package. This is India's biggest advantage. Building their own fighter saves billions in the national defense budget, gives them massive geopolitical leverage, and opens the door for huge export opportunities. Think about it. A developing nation on a tight budget that wants a solid 4.5-gen fighter squadron? The Tejas Mk2 is going to look like a very tempting option. But let's zoom out for a second, because the Tejas Mk2 isn't just about defending Indian airspace. It's a massive geopolitical chess piece. Right now, China and Pakistan are aggressively pushing their JF-17 Thunder Block 3 into emerging markets. It's cheap, it's available, and it comes with heavy geopolitical strings attached. India knows this. They're positioning the Tejas Mk2 as the ultimate democratic alternative. Think about countries in Southeast Asia, the Middle East, or South America. Nations like Argentina, the Philippines, or Egypt, they want advanced fighters, but they don't necessarily want to be tied down by Chinese influence. Nor do they want to deal with the strict export controls and heavy-handed end-user agreements that Washington always slaps on the F-16. The Mk2 hits that perfect sweet spot. It offers Western-grade engines and killer sensors without the geopolitical baggage of picking a side in the great power competition. And we absolutely have to talk about the hidden killer in military procurement, the lifecycle costs. Anyone in the defense industry will tell you straight up that the sticker price is just the down payment. The real pain comes from the cost per flight hour and long-term maintenance. The F-16 is a proven beast, but maintaining that American tech and constantly sourcing overseas spare parts is incredibly expensive over a 30 to 40-year lifespan. By heavily localizing the supply chain and using an open architecture avionics system, HAL is aiming to drastically cut down on the operational cost for the Mark II. If India can prove that this jet is not only affordable to buy, but also dirt cheap to fly and easy to maintain with accessible parts, it becomes an absolute no-brainer. It completely changes the conversation from can we afford to buy it to we can't afford not to buy it. Moreover, looking at the big picture, the Mk2 is much more than just a jet. It's a high-stakes incubator for India's entire future aerospace industry. By forcing themselves to build indigenous AESA radars, electronic warfare suites, and complex fly-by-wire flight control systems from scratch, India is establishing a massive domestic talent pool. They are intentionally learning the hard, painful lessons right now. Why? So that when it comes time to build their actual fifth-generation stealth fighter, the AMCA project, they won't be starting from zero. Every delay, every failure, and every breakthrough on the Tejas Mk2 is essentially paying the tuition for India's future dominance in aerospace engineering. They aren't just playing for today, they are playing the long game. Wrapping up, guys, the HAL Tejas Mk2 might not be the absolute best fighter jet on the planet right now. It might not match the refined perfection of the F-16V or other Western jets in every single category. But for India, this aircraft is a symbol of resilience. It's the sweat and brains of their engineers proving they can stand on their own 2 feet in a viciously competitive geopolitical landscape. If they can get this over the finish line and into service on time, it won't just revolutionize the Indian Air Force, it could permanently shift the balance of power in Asian skies. So what do you guys think about the HAL Tejas Mk2? Do you think India can pull this off and become a major player in the global fighter market? Or is this just going to be another delayed project that the world leaves behind? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I want to hear your take. The world of military tech always has something crazy to debate. If you enjoyed this kind of straight shooting, no BS analysis, don't forget to hit that like button, share the video, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an update on global military hardware. Until next time, I'm Mick, stay sharp, and keep watching the world with me. See you in the next one.